Welcome back to Unit 3, Lesson 4, Video Part 2. We were just picking up with the idea of redundancy, and this is a mandatory part still. And redundancy being if I said that my cat is little, small, tiny, not very big, it's all the same way of saying that she's small. So that's redundant. We can say or code for amino acid with multiple different codons, so they're redundant as well. Okay. Now, the actual genetic code has been broken by scientists or translated, deciphered. So scientists deciphered what codons represent what amino acids using mRNA. So the codon's based in mRNA because that's how we broke the code. Rather than taking DNA and mutating DNA, which is a little harder to work with, scientists just took mRNA, they started out and they made a big long string of A's and then saw what amino acids were put together. And when they put all A's together, what they found is they got a whole bunch of lysine amino acids. Then when they put all C's together, they ended up getting a whole bunch of prolines. And they just kept changing the sequence until they figured out what every possible code was. Okay, so here is the code based on mRNA, and we just want to practice and make sure you can translate the code as well as your body. Okay, so translate this. I'm going to give you a minute to do this. So I'm not actually going to give you a full minute on the time, but you should hit pause right now and try and translate the mRNA sequence. Okay, hopefully you've hit pause, you've tried it, and you've come back. Now that you've done that, I'll double check that you've done it right. So we're going to find AGU. So we go up here, here's AGU. And we find out it codes for an amino acid called serine, and its nickname is just S, like you call me Dr. T instead of Teresa. So that's going to code for S. Then we're going to look up AUG. There it is. That codes for methionine, or M. AUU. That codes for isoleucine, or I. All these amino acids, they're different because they have a different R group. And then CUC. Some people are really quick at using the chart. I'm about average speed. So that's leucine, L. And GAA, that's glutamate, which is abbreviated with an E. So in abbreviation, that spells smile. Now, a couple important things when we're translating. First of all, must always use mRNA sequence. And you have to read 5' to 3'. Because if you accidentally did this backwards, and we'll do it in red, red's wrong. If we went 3' to 5', well, instead of this being GAA, it's now AAG. We look that up. That's a K, lysine. If we went CUC, well, it's a palindrome, so that one would still be L. But UUA would be an L. GUA would be valine, V, and UGA would be stop. You can see if you read backwards, you get nonsense. And in your body, even though they're not spelling out sentences or words, you would get a nonsense protein, something that didn't function. So the body has to read 5' to 3', and when we translate, we have to read 5' to 3' based on the mRNA. Okay, I'd like you to hit pause again now and try and translate this DNA sequence, keeping in mind you can't go from DNA straight off this code. If, for example, if you look for CTT, well, there aren't any T's here because it's RNA base. So the first thing we are going to have to do is you're going to have to go to your mRNA and then go to your protein or amino acid sequence. Okay, so hit pause and then come back and double check. Hopefully you've hit pause and not just waited for me to do this or skipped ahead. If you have, stop and hit pause and actually do it for yourself. So we're going to go, the DNA's 3 to 5. When it builds the mRNA, it's going to be anti-parallel. So you're going to go G, G, A pairs with a U, C with a G, T with A, careful, it's mRNA, not DNA, so you need the U, not the T. G, A, G, 3'. And then when we go translate that up on the code, GGU is G, represented by G. GAA is glutamate, which is an E. AAU is an N, asparagine, and GAG is an E as well. Hey, we spelt the word gene. Okay, so that's how you translate. If you have any questions about that, you should come ask me in class. Otherwise, I hope you have a really good day, and I'll see you next day in class.